What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Dissect That Film's Slice of TV, where we sit down and talk about new release television shows on your favorite streaming services or on cable, if you still watch cable. Today, we're talking about episode 5 of Halo on Paramount Plus. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me once again is the amazing Andrew Schoening.
Well, hello there.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank you for having me.
my God, they did it.
Yeah,
They did it.
they
They
did it.
made an episode that when it ended, I went, I need more. I need more of what this is because
Yes.
I really haven't felt that way for the first 4 episodes of this show. But damn, this one was good.
This one got my heart pumping. I was like, I take back almost everything bad I said about episode 4. While episode 4 was still crap in my opinion,
Oh, yeah.
this might have saved the series. This is wonderful.
This one was definitely such a rebound from episode 4. Like episode 4 was such like a boy, are we just gonna get more of this? Like, if we get more of this is a dud.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Wait a second, guys. Wait
Yeah.
a second.
Just hold on, we
Just
got
hold
you.
up. Hold up." So, yeah, this, episode is titled Reckoning, which definitely fits, how this episode is just vastly superior to the prior episode. Let's talk about it non-spoilers, and then, of course, we'll get into spoilers. So yeah, we've kind of talked about our thoughts on it, but let's go into a little bit more non-spoiler detail of what we thought of episode 5 of Halo. And of course, Shoning, you gotta start us off.
Uh, this was man, kind of like I said, this was just such a far cry from the last episode. This is the best episode out of the series so far. This one gets your heart pumping. I'm not gonna lie, you start off, you're like back on Madrigal, and you're like, oh please
Ah,
don't do
stop
this to
it.
me again. Just don't, man. And then all of a sudden, this episode kicks into high gear
Mhm.
and there's plenty of action to be had in this one. I think they did a lot of nice fan service for the fans on this one. I can't say that they heard your cries of, outrage because this has been filmed a long time ago, but
No, no, no,
it,
no.
it
They heard
almost
our episode and they went, "We got you.
yeah,
We
yeah,
know what you
they were
want."
like, "Hey, that Parker and Schoening, they're really mad at us. We should fix this because hey, I'm just gonna say right now, without spoiling anything, they gave us everything we wanted."
Yes, they did.
Yes. So
Ah.
that's all I'm gonna say about it until we get into some spoilers, but I'm just gonna say, if you haven't watched this episode, you need to pause this right now and get your life together and go watch this because you're missing out.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I have to tell people out there, if you are a diehard Halo fan and you have been skeptical about this show because of the way that they're going about it, this episode I think would put smiles on so many Halo fans' faces. Um, it put a huge smile on my face when you see certain aspects of the show of this episode and what they added to it and just the way that character oh god this just everything was so fluid in this episode, and you know how much of the magical shit we got, very little of it, and that was what made this episode even better
Yeah,
because we didn't focus on stuff that doesn't matter, in my opinion.
right.
Some people might be caring about what's going on with Quan and Soren on Magical. I don't. I want to see what John's, the John story with Halsey and Miranda and her dad and that creepy guy who works with Halsey. Uh, I want to
Yeah.
see all them, or I want to see Kai and the other Spartans. That's what I care about. Magical, mm, go away, go away.
We can focus some more on that maybe in season 2. We're not worried
Yeah,
about that right now.
yeah. Where Chief, hooks back up with Quan, and we get to see some of that. But right now, I don't care. um,
Yes.
a little bit of insight into this episode. It was directed by Jonathan Liebusman. He has been directing films since 2002. He did the very obscure horror film Darkness Falls back in 2002, which I don't know if people know what that movie is, but it's a it's a movie about an evil tooth fairy, and I enjoyed it as when I was younger. Um, he directed. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, which was the prequel to the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He did the sequel to Clash of the Titans. He did Battle Los Angeles. Like he's got some high powered movies under his belt. Maybe not all of them being good, but he directed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2015, the first of the live action Ninja Turtles that we got, 5-6 years ago. So yeah, he's got those really action-packed films under his belt. So you could definitely tell with the way that this episode was shot and the action sequences.
Mhm.
This guy knows what he's doing, even if not all the movies that he's done were good. This episode was good, so bravo to him on that.
Yeah, if this is the guy that they need to direct the rest of the episodes, then they just
Yeah,
yeah, it just
definitely.
needs to be done.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, my initial thoughts are this is what I've been wanting the whole season. I feel like we've gotten so much slow burn for the last 4 episodes, and of course, we talked about kind of the downfall of episode 4 and kind of, is this the direction they're gonna go in? Are they really just what are they trying to do? There's just too much filler here, where this episode brought everything together, and by the time it's all over, you're just like, "Okay, there's some real stakes going on here, and we
Mhm.
wanna see what's gonna go on next." And, you see conflict between so many characters just in this initial group. You got between Halsey and, uh, Captain is it Captain Keyes? What is his
Is
rank?
he a captain in this? Yep, Captain Jacob Keyes, you're
Yeah,
right,
so you
yep.
have, Halsey and Keyes, and then you have Miranda there too because, spoiler if you haven't been paying attention the last few episodes, they're all related. You got Chief and Halsey having their thing going on. You have Kai's coming in with and Chief have a little bit of a conflict. Not a huge one, but it's one of those like, it was something we were kind of expecting based on, how what Kai did to herself and how she's kind of changing, and it's just so much. But you know what? All in all, they gave us exactly what we asked for, and that's all I need. And we got some. Oh god, I can't wait to talk about them because I mean, listen, if you've been listening to our reviews of this show for the last 4 weeks, you know what we've been wanting this whole time. All right,
Yep,
anything. The, the there's one thing you put in the show to make it just perfect, and they did it. And so now this show is perfect, and I don't care what anyone says about it.
Parker wants to get to the spoilers,
I
people.
just want it so bad. Listen, we're 8 minutes in. I figured, you know what? It's the best I can do for non-spoilers because
Yes,
I'm
we're ready for it.
erupting with anticipation to talk about this. So if you haven't seen episode 5 of Halo, make sure you tune out, go watch it, come back in, watch the rest of this because there's gonna be some spoilers in here. So you're warned.
3, 2, 1, and you're gone. Okay.
They gave us grunts.
They gave us the grunt. Oh, thank
Yes.
God, and all of their little glory, it that just
Oh,
gave it and, the wonderful thing about it is even Master Chief had a really amazing exchange with one of
yes.
them where he jumps on top of the warthog, he goes like, "Mind if I drive?" and just
Yes.
kicks him
And
out.
just it shoots them out, and you're like, you literally have the Halo theme playing in your head. You're just, oh man, it was so
Oh,
good.
can I just say how wonderful it was when the pods started to drop from the Covenant ship, and then the first thing you see that comes out of the pods is the Jackal's shields, and I was just like,
Yes.
I mean, like, I out loud proclaimed, like, "Oh my god, we got Jackals," and I'm sitting there going like, "Where are the grunts? Where are the grunts?" And then all of a sudden you see a grunt, I was just like, "There's a grunt!"
So much.
I
The
shouldn't be
little
that
things,
excited
people.
about something like this, but
The
I
little
was
things.
ecstatic.
The little things that make us happy. Us, 30-year-old
Oh,
men. Just
god.
like the grunts, man. They gave us the grunts.
They
But
gave us
yeah,
the
they gave us
grunts, man.
we got to see them all. We got to see, jackals, which, um, I don't remember, it's been a long time since I've gone through all the games, but were there jackals that had energy swords?
No, that threw me way off. So,
Yeah,
normally, jackals, at least in the majority of the games, they were kinda used as, like, they had sniper rifles and, oh, maybe, like, a plasma pistol or a, plasma rifle, something like that.
yeah,
Never did I really see a jackal wield an energy sword. Those were reserved for, you know,
the elites.
elites.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, that's something different. I mean, I think they might kind of show a little bit of that in I didn't pay much attention to Infinite's, storyline, but I know that when you get to the Infinite storyline, you kinda see, like, grunts and jackals are kind of able to hold, like, different ranks,
right.
in there, and so I think there might be kinda some of that, but I always associated the energy swords with kind of it was a top tier weapon, only the elites, that
Yeah,
and I'm not even talking the actual elites, I'm talking, like, the elite of the elites got to that was what they wielded.
got to wield them. Yeah.
Yeah.
The entire battle sequence. I mean, listen, we're talking about the end of the episode already. I mean, we'll go back and we'll go through all of
Oh, yeah.
the other things that happened in this episode. But the battle scene was just so good. There was some shoddy CG, but I just keep going. You know what? It's a TV show, and it's got a TV show budget. At least that's what I'm guessing it has.
I'm thinking, like, I would really like to see since we already know that there's gonna be a 2nd season of this coming, if this continues to do well, especially as they wrap up this season, I almost bet you they give it a better budget to up its CG
Yeah,
because I bet you they kinda were like, "Hey, I we know we gotta put so much CG into this to make it look convincing,
right.
but we're not gonna go, like, over the top on it because we don't know if this is gonna work."
Exactly.
I kind of feel like it might be I call it the Deadpool effect. The first Deadpool, they slashed that budget so freaking low
Yeah,
to make that movie, and then the second one, they gave him a little bit more, and things were a
a little bit
little bit
crisper.
better,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
it's just kinda like, I'm hoping that when they go to shoot season 2, if the rest of this season works out, that all of a sudden we're gonna get some battle scenes in season 2, and we're gonna go like,
There we
"You know
go.
what? Doesn't even matter anymore because they fixed it."
Exactly.
So,
But you know what? I was very, very impressed with the battle scene in this episode. Just everything
it
that's
was good.
going on. Seeing Chief and the Spartans fighting again. Oh man, to see Chief just going through and just
Oh,
murking so many of these Covenant and getting like their guts. Like he legit takes an elite's face and turns it into a bowl of mush and just
yeah,
gets covered. I mean, you can see I mean, Shonen can't see it, but in the graphic, that's what Chief looks like after he literally destroys an elite's face, just gets covered in purple goo.
I
And
yeah,
yeah, it's
he was
great
very
though.
much Chief.
Yeah, it was so good. To go back though, uh to start kind of from the beginning, we literally get maybe a couple minutes of anything magical related, and it's
Yeah,
just Quan and Soren. They're I guess the bike that they stole at the end of season or of episode 4, broke down, and he's got to go find some new wheels. So he like handcuffs her to the bike, and she gets loose, and then she knocks him out, and that's legit all you get
and
of
that was
those 2.
enough for me.
Yep, that was it, and I was like, "You know what? I didn't hate it, because I don't want this. So
Right,
thank you. Thank you, because this is not what everybody's caring about. They wanna know what the hell's going on with that artifact, you know, and, what's gonna happen. I like we finally got an interaction between Chief and Kai because Chief pretty much knows, like, he pretty much just looks at Kai and knows that there's something different about her. Well,
mhm,
he sees that she's got the streaks in her hair, and
right,
Cortana comments on it, and he pretty much goes up to her and asks her about her removing her pellet, and she's like, "Yeah, I saw you do it, so I figured I'd do it." And he's like, "Well, you're not going to be in battle because you're compromised." And she's just like, What about you?" Which makes
yeah,
sense. Like,
and we
she's not
actually do
wrong.
get a little bit of that later when, John gets the majority of his memories back.
Yeah.
and, stuff, and that I mean, he actually makes a lunge for Halsey,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Halsey has to actually use Cortana in the way that I mean, I guess she was programmed, and I mean,
But she
she
never
basically
wa
just shuts.
yeah, she didn't wanna do it. Like, she programmed
Right,
him that way, but she didn't think that she was ever gonna have to use it.
right.
But, yeah, it's let's just say John and Halsey's relationship is just, like, on the thinnest of it's like a tiny thread, and it's
It's a
almost about to
little rocky.
snap. Yeah. But it's it was, I did like how, though, once all that happened and he wakes up and then the Covenant shows up,
Mhm.
he's into battle mode because, like,
Oh, yeah.
she's giving him, commands and he's abiding by them to a degree until he,
Yeah,
because of the fact that he has emotions and he sees that Kai's in distress, he wants to go save her, and, Halsey's like, "No, you need to bring the artifact and pretty much don't worry about her. Like, this
yeah.
is what this whole point of this program is. Like, one dies, we just replace her.
Yep.
They don't mean anything."
No, it just goes back to they're just a weapon at that
Right.
point to the UNSC. I mean,
Right.
they're not people, they don't care, they're expendable.
Right. And that's why they have these pellets because of the fact so that they don't hold those emotions for their comrades. Like they're there to support each other, but if one of them goes down, they're still focused on the mission instead of like, oh no, like he could survive. No, you leave them there, they're gonna die. We got to move on and complete this mission. Where
Right,
now that John is feeling, emotions and he can feel everything, he sees that his comrade is in distress. He wants to try to save her, which is great. I do like this whole, evolution of John, and I really like Kai. I really do. And I really hope that she's not dead,
yeah,
because
she kind
she's
of
in rough shape at the end of this episode.
she's not just gonna be walking around at the end of this.
No. I was very confused though. Did I miss something? Like, why did she just kinda shut down? Is it because she
I
was
think
seeing all the Marines dying around
I
her?
think it was the removal of her, of her pellet. I mean, it all
Right,
of a sudden, like, she's getting shook because it's basically shell shock because it's like, "Oh, crud. Like, these people that I'm fighting alongside, they're dying, and I
right.
actually care about that." And I think
Mm.
she just kinda goes into this sort of just like, "I don't know what to do. I'm just getting overwhelmed." And then while she's getting overwhelmed, they do a good job of showing you hear her energy shield go down. You hear, it's beeping and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
you're like, "This is going to get bad," and they just continue to just pelt her with, like, everything that they can get, and I'm like,
yeah,
"That chick should have been dead a long time ago with the
right,
amount of crap that got thrown at her," but,
yeah,
hey, that it made for some really good visuals and a really, like I mean, like, you were like, "Not Kai!" I mean, you're, like,
right.
sitting there going like, "You don't." I sat there for, like, 5 seconds going like, "She's dead."
She's gotta be
I'm
dead,
just
yeah,
I'm getting attached to this character, and now she's dead.
yeah. It's I every time I hear that sound when the shield depletes, I fucking
Yep.
love it. I'm just like, I feel like I'm playing the game.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the same
no.
exact sound, and it's great.
Yep.
It just I remember hearing it in the first episode, which we actually didn't even talk about, which I'm after we recorded, I was like, "We never even talked about, like, the little intricate details that they put in that were, like,
The
related to the
sounds that
game
they
with the."
actually brought
Yeah,
from the game, yes.
and
I mean, it's even like the needlers. You hear
oh,
them shoot, and the sound of the needle shooting is the exact same that
oh,
it is in the
man.
games. The plasma pistols, you hear the charge up and then the it's
Yeah,
exactly the same. All of the like, the weapons, the armor sounds, all of it, they cut it and they brought it right from the games,
right.
and I think that was perfect, and it needed to be done.
Yeah. I mean, the the shot of the Marine on the back of the Warthog that gets hit with all the needles and just
But
looks
just
down and just like, "I'm fucked." Just
I mean,
and
he
just
just poof and
blows
he's
up into
gone.
yeah, he's literally nothing. The only thing I have a gripe with, though, is, when Chief picks up the battle rifle and starts shooting at the Covenant ship, he shoots it full auto. That's not a full auto gun.
Right.
It's a I think it's probably I think a 3-round
3-round
burst.
burst.
Yeah, so, come on, guys. You got it. You were almost there, and then
You were
you
so
did that.
close.
You do I mean, it's like you have a weapon in Halo that is a full auto, like, just have them pick
You
up
have an
the
assault rifle
assault
that is a
yeah, the
full
assault rifle.
auto, yep, and you just
So,
they're
you
probably
know
just gonna make a little comment and say like, "Oh, it's got different modes. It can
yeah,
either
they have
be
a
full auto
switch.
or not,"
It's
you know,
fine.
whatever.
It's
I don't know. Whatever, I guess.
yeah. Um, I I just can can we stop having Chief take his helmet off every 3 seconds? He puts it on, he takes it off. He can talk with the helmet on. Like,
Yeah.
stop making him take it off. Like, at the end when, he literally turns that elite's face into mush, and then he faces off against what the hell was that?
It was brute.
It was a brute, okay.
So you don't see a brute at all in this up until now, and you're kinda sitting there wondering because the brutes weren't really introduced until oh, I hope I get this right. I think it's the very end of Halo 2.
And the brutes were Covenant?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought they were part of a different race.
Well, no, they're in, like, Infinite, they're part of what they call the Banished. It's mainly brutes.
Oh, okay.
But it's so weird. After the events of Halo 3, when they pretty much wrap that all up with a nice little bow, it's like the Covenant kinda, like, splinters, and they kinda go off on, like, their own thing,
Right.
and the Banished are well, they're everything they talk about. I mean, they're elites, they're jackals, they're, grunts and brutes, and there's even some humans that go along with them, because they believe, that well, they're supposedly still on the path to the great journey, which is what the prophets in Halo and everything here are after. I mean,
Yeah.
the activation of the Halo array is what they want.
Yeah.
But then you have the other group of mostly Sahelis or elites, and
Mhm.
that's where Arbiter, he takes them and they kinda go off, and then they're just, they're peaceful. They're friends with the humans and the UNSC, and there's no problem there.
Mhm.
It gets a little weird, but no, the brutes were, I'm pretty sure, introduced at the end of Halo 2. They were originally a lower class than the elites. The elites were the top, brutes were some that were down lower, and then
Yep.
all of a sudden, you kinda just learn that the prophets are like, "Well, the elites' time has come and run its course. The brutes are our main big guys now," and then they become big in, like, Halo 3 and all of them.
Right. He looks good. I thought the effects for him looked pretty good. He was
No
fucking
Craig the
huge.
Brute.
He was
Yeah,
so big.
he's massive.
Yeah. I mean, you only get him for a split second because he literally picks up the artifact and then gets shot up back up into the ship.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it was this whole fight scene, just this whole battle scene just was I thought was great visually and like just perfect for the story that they were trying to tell. Um, and of course, Mackie has to play into it as she's the reason that they go there is uh the artifact sends out like a sonic boom that she can
Mhm.
hear. She's on magical and she can feel the energy from from the sonic boom, and that's what pretty much tells her where to go. But at the end, when everything's all said and done, she gets sent down, um, and plays it like she was a hostage of the Covenant. And I I thought when Chief picked up the gun and was gonna walk up to her, I was like, "Could you just shoot her? Can we just end this?
Please
Like, just
please,
end
let's
her?"
just shoot her
Yeah,
right here and then
yeah,
just cut the credits.
yeah. Because we know where this is gonna go. This is she her just weeding her way into the UNSC and causing a lot of issues. Um, I the relationship of the Keys, as we should say, the Keys and Halsey is very just broken. It's a completely broken relationship. You just see how
Yeah.
Halsey is just she doesn't feel like Miranda's mom. Um,
But I got to admit that you see just a glimmer, just a tiny bit of, like, good parenting
Yeah,
between her and Captain Keyes. You just because that you hear them talk about how Miranda is her hands are clean. She's got no blood on her hands with this whole Spartan project or
right.
anything, and they both sit there and then, Captain Key says something about, "I want Miranda off of this. Her hands are clean. I want to keep them that way," and Halsey actually turns to him and says, like, "That's something both you and I can agree on." And
Yeah,
it's just like she's trying to be, in her own way, a good mom. I don't want my daughter
right.
wrapped up in all of this, and it's just
Yeah,
like, "Oh my god, Halsey is a halfway decent person. Somewhere deep down in there, she's a mom."
right.
It's different.
But, by the end of this episode, you're kind of like, "Wow, Halsey is sucks."
Yeah,
Like,
and then
she
you're like
sucks.
you immediately get reminded why she's yeah.
It's so the beginning of the episode, you see it's John's home planet. It's, where they're at currently, but it's in the what was the program called? It was like to renew. It's like the renewal program where they like were trying to,
Oh,
they were growing trees and they were changing the planet's surface. It was a weird thing, but
I know what you're talking about. It'll come to me.
yeah. So this woman is bringing these people through and kind of showing them around and stuff, and then you find out it's Halsey and Keys, and but you see a interaction between John. Like there was a bunch of kids playing on like this rope bridge and things are going on, and John saves this other kid, and Halsey takes notice of it.
Mhm,
Well, John is told later on in the episode when they find the artifact and they clear it, when it actually exposes itself, we don't touch it because it could, it's not going to be good for you. It could kill you. Even Cortana is telling him not to do it, and the way that Keys and Halsey are very secretive behind John's back, and no one is really telling him the information he wants to know. He's like, screw this. He goes up to the artifact and touches it, and it just flashes to possibly the worst thing ever, which is John being kidnapped from his home and
mhm,
replaced by a flash clone of himself, and he's kidnapped. And who's at the tail end of it is Halsey. Halsey's the one who embraces him at the end, and that's when he wakes up and is just like, "You kidnapped me." Like,
right.
and he snaps and he tries to attack her, and of course she uses the shutdown protocol on him that Cortana is able to do, and I it sucks because like yeah, that Halsey is all in for the science, and she is trying to. A lot of this is for her own benefit, and it's she always would talk about, oh, this is to help win the war. No, this is to better your
Yeah,
where you're at in the science community or whatever it is. It's all about you. And boy, just the fact that like they were going around kidnapping children that they saw fit for this program and replacing them with clones, it's like this is shitty. Like she's a shitty
yeah.
person because she's the one who orchestrated it because she was
Well,
probably going to all these settlements, scoping it out, finding these strong candidates and doing it to all of them, all the Spartan, all
mhm.
the people who are in this program. And it's like, wow, I don't know if there's a way out of this. I don't know if there's any redeeming there's no redeeming this character in my eyes. Like, that's shitty.
And that is one thing that I know the producers and everybody said that they did not watch, or they didn't go through any of the games or anything like that when they were making that, but they have kept, like, Halsey's character from the games, like, she is so sketchy. She it they make a note of it, and I can't remember whether it was in this episode or the last episode, but somebody actually points out the fact that Halsey looks out for number 1, and
Yep,
number 1 is her,
yep,
and it's just she is there, and she's gonna cover her ass in any way she's got to do
yep.
it, and that is so much like the Halsey in the video games.
Yeah,
She is just I mean, she does everything to get around any protocol that she's gotta do to get what she wants, and it's just I mean, and actually the story of how they did the Spartan 2 programs where they legitimately kidnapped these children and augmented them and did all of these tests and everything on them. It's completely it's perfect with the actual source material. It's
right.
exactly how they did it. And it's just you never saw that really in the video games, but now you're seeing it on the screen and you're just like, "Oh my gosh, this is
Right.
horrific."
Yeah.
I mean, they legitimately just kidnapped these kids and you're just like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sitting here watching this episode going like, "I know this is what happened, but whoa." I'm just like, "This is heartbreaking in a way." I'm just like, to actually see it.
Yeah. It's it's crazy. And whew, yeah, I mean, there's just so many things that happen and then it ends. And you're just like, "Oh, you guys, you're doing it. You're doing it." Like
Yep.
it this episode is the best episode so far. And it's now the problem of you have 4 episodes left. Can you live up to this episode and can you progress this, well enough where by the time we get to the finale, it's gonna kind of wrap itself up or give us a satisfying end where we're looking forward to season 2 going, "Okay, where are they gonna go from here?"
Yep.
Because that's what terrifies me. This episode was so good that now I'm like, I don't have high hopes for episode 6 living up to this.
I feel the same way. I feel as if, like, I'm just readying myself for disappointment with this next one because I'm like, the only thing that's going to make episode 6 as good as episode 5 is if we get another battle with the Covenant,
Yep.
somehow, and I just don't see that happening. I can see in the next episode, I can see, them obviously taking, Mackie back to I'm gonna guess they probably take her back to Reach. Which
Yeah.
is the wrong thing to do because you're basically just taking her to where she wants to be,
Yeah.
and, it's just we're going in the direction that I feel I kinda predicted with this series. She's going back to Reach. There's going to be a big battle on Reach
Oh, yeah.
before this is done,
I feel that's gonna
and
be something we see at the end.
yeah, and Reach is just gonna have to be glassed, and I'm still in my head, I'm like, the only time we're gonna see Halo is maybe either at the very end of the last episode or in a post-credit scene.
Right.
I that's seriously all it's gonna be, and then, season 2 will be pretty much all about Halo, but, I just I'm bracing myself because 'cause I've got this feeling that next episode is going to be very slow,
Yeah.
and even episode 7 could be very slow. And then I got a feeling that 8 and 9 you almost need to have 8 and 9 be just jam-packed with just
Craziness.
fights and
Yeah.
everything, with it all just culminating it in episode 9, and that's it, it's
Yeah.
just all. Um,
Yeah. I agree on all of those points. Well,
it's
yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we're now halfway through the 1st season. This was a wonderful turning point,
Yep.
being, actually going into the second half of the season, in the second act, if you will. I hope that this is where we turn the page, and now this is where the actions picks up. I'm hoping that that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah. It's a lot to live up to when you're only halfway through and you have an episode like this. Like
Yeah.
you go from having a such a weak and just kind of pointless filler episode at like season or episode God, I keep saying season as episode 4, and then you have this high action, high octane, well driven storyline part that's all wrapped in one episode. And it's like,
Mhm.
ooh, it's a lot to live up to right there. Let's hope they can do it. I really hope they can do it. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be. I think that's about it for things that happened in the episode. At least all of the major points of this episode. If you saw the episode and you watched this review and we missed something, or or just you want to let us know what you thought of episode 5, make sure to leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe on the YouTube. Um, Shoning, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Of course, you will be back for
It
the
was a
final 4
blast.
episodes. Don't worry, he ain't going anywhere. He'll be here again next week.
I might disappear.
They're like, no, where'd he go?
No.
But yeah, Shoning, where can people find you?
Uh, I am on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, any social media platform really. Just type in @Schoening, and you'll find me there.
Yes, they will. We are Dissect That Film on pretty much everything. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can find us on TikTok. We don't make TikToks, but we're there.
Hey,
And of course on YouTube and all your favorite podcast services. Um, so yeah, since this episode will be out on a Monday, I figured I'd just let you guys know what is going to be coming out this week. So yeah, this will be out on Monday. Tuesday will be our video debut of our Bad Boys review from back in August with me and my brother. Wednesday will be our fresh cut of Sonic 2. Finally getting to sit down and talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Very excited about that. Thursday will be my solo review of episode 5 of Moon Knight. And then Friday we're back to our normal podcast where we're gonna be sitting down talking about the Lego Batman. Very exciting about that.
yes,
So a 5-day slate of videos and 4 days of audio and video. So a lot of content coming out
jeez.
this week and next week. So hope you're all excited and ready to listen because it's a lot.
Yeah.
But until next time, I am Brett Parker. That is Andrew Schoening. This is Dissect That Film Slice of TV. We'll see y'all next time. Bye
Bye, everybody.
bye.